What kind of support did you have along the way?
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
Not a lot. Obviously, I grew up through the AIDS generation where,
Yes, I'm.
you know, God, you did anything alternative. You were gay and you were.
Ashley Stevens has been spreading her wings on Insta since the very beginning of 2021 and has over 40 years of dressing under her belt. We'd only been talking a few months and she jumped at the chance to be on our show. So snuggle up, get a snack, and let's hear about her story.
Hello.
Gorgeous.
Hey, Ashley.
Hey, Olive, how are you? So
Doing
nice to
good.
meet you in
Good
person.
to meet you too. Have a seat.
Oh, thank you.
So today where are we at? What state are we in right now?
New Hampshire.
New Hampshire.
Yep.
I've been
The
to
live free or die state.
Yes. Let's live free then.
Yep. I always choose that one.
So what are we drinking today?
Chilla. I believe.
Chilla. Ooh, and we get we get bottle
Special
service too.
Ah.
I'm liking this. Well, cheers, Ashley.
Cheers.
Hope it's good.
Cheers to our hostess.
What? It's like cough medicine.
Is it too sweet? What is it?
There's not a.
Enough
Have you tried it?
No, thank you. I just had food, so
It's
come on.
like a Bailey's with cinnamon.
Okay, so here we are in New Hampshire for episode, I want to say 7 or 8.
Wow.
of
Lucky
Feminine
7?
Yes, lucky 7. I'm here with Ashley. You're from the Boston area?
Yep, Boston area.
Boston
Hello.
area. And let's talk about your story. Let's talk about what's going on. What inspires you to wear women's clothes?
Women.
Oh, I like that.
I've
I
been-
like
I've
that a
been
lot.
inspired since, well, for over 35, over 40 years now.
Oh, wow.
From a young child, I just somehow found pantyhose one day, and that was wonderful. And then I sort of found other things, bathing suits, nightgowns, skirts, bras, panties, and just kind of kept
How
going.
old were you?
Probably 10, 12, somewhere in there.
So puberty time
Puberty,
range.
yeah.
Puberty time range.
Yeah, it's puberty time, and it was a thrilling thing, and I really loved doing it. And part of it was obviously going through puberty. There were certain hormones and emotions that were involved, but also I just loved the look and feel. I loved to emulate, the neighborhood teenage girls, mothers, etc.
Oh my gosh, the teenage girls when you're that age are like goddesses.
Oh yeah.
That's, when you're that age, they're like,
And then I'm a little bit older, so I was watching some of the TV shows of those days, and you'd have the female leads getting dressed, putting their makeup in their slips, etc., and then getting dressed up. There was just something very stockings, just
the whole production.
just really made me feel like a different person, and it was a wonderful escape. And I think it was, many people say, well, that wasn't healthy to do, but I don't know, it felt healthy to me. I was always more relaxed. My troubles went away. The unhealthy part would have been having to hide it from society. That was a little unhealthy, but I made it through.
So, did this stay with you for after that, or was it?
Yes, it kind of stayed with me throughout my whole rest of my life.
Okay. Wow.
Like many, I purged. I'd build up a wardrobe and then throw it all away. Although I tended to donate it, it'd go to Goodwill.
Right.
Laundered, of course.
I might be wearing you right now.
You could be. I mean, I used to buy a lot of my clothes from Goodwill. I'd go to Salvation Army thrift stores, etc., because you get very inexpensive stuff. And so I tried to stop, and I'd get more grumpy, and my attitude would change. And I'd always come back to it. And I did that for years, probably 25 years worth. And I could never get rid of it. I could never just stop cold turkey, whatever. And I've come to the realization that it's a part of me.
Yeah.
It's a harmless part of me. I'm not harming anyone. I'm not out there. You know, I hear all these stories about predators. I'm not a predator. I don't know any girl, woman like us that are predators. I know a lot of men that are predators.
Right.
You know, but it just makes me feel relaxed, and I don't really get out with a lot of people. Again, it's still a taboo thing for people my age. It's much less so for the next generation, which is really nice to see.
It is.
They can be who they are. They can be nurturing, etc. So when I do get out, though, I sometimes meet people, and it's just fun. You know, people like me that you know, they're not looking. You know, I don't look for sexuality out of this anymore. It's much different than when I was a kid. So they just looking for companionship, not in an intimate way, but just friends.
Right.
Friends who have similar interests, connections, validation. You know, because again, most of society in my generation and the generation just below me, you know, thinks it's weird.
Right.
I don't know if it is weird. It's different.
It's different.
And different can be beautiful. I mean, if people weren't different and we're all the same, that would be the most boring world I can imagine.
Yes.
So.
And you look beautiful, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
The whole dress, and I don't know if you guys check the boots. Let's see the boots. Oh my goodness, look at that.
Yeah.
How beautiful. Love them.
Nordstrom Rack, very cheap.
Beautiful. What size?
These are 12 mediums.
Really? So they're going to they got the bigger
Yeah, they have
sizes
13s.
there. Nice.
You find them at the rack. They're actually the same that would be in the store, just they go on clearance, and $25 for those boots.
That's beautiful.
It's amazing.
And they're real boots. It's
Right.
It's not Payless Shoe Store where your feet are killing you. And I've done a lot of that. But and dress actually is, I think, Nordstrom as well. I've also have done a lot of stuff with White House Black Market when they have big sales, and the clearance sales, I will admit, it's very pricey for someone like me that has 2 wardrobes. But beautiful things. And then I'll go also off. I do JCPenney, TJ Maxx. You know, depending on what's out there. I try to buy more quality now that I'm a little bit older, and less of it, because you know, I don't need every little thing. But you know, I want to keep what I have there. So yeah, it's just a fun hobby, maybe a little bit more, but you know, it just makes me relaxed. And in some ways, I think it makes me a better person.
Yes.
And just for all of you that may be asking, I'm really attracted to women. Even when I'm dressed, I'm attracted to women. They may not be as attracted to me when I'm dressed, but you know, this isn't a sexual fantasy thing. It's just something that it's a great way to relax, wind down.
You enjoy it, really.
Yeah, I enjoy.
Yes.
And I enjoy letting down my male guard and not having to be being more nurturing, right? Being able to, if I want to cry at a movie, I can cry at a movie. You can't do that as a male in my generation.
Right.
You can start doing it in the next generation, and it's tough to change your generation. I grew up one way. It's tough to say, oh, I could just do that, but it's tough. So that's sort of my story. That's my backstory. That's how I got here. I'm long-winded.
So what kind of support did you have along the way?
Not a lot.
Not a lot.
Not a lot. Obviously, I grew up through the AIDS generation where,
Yes,
you know, God, you did anything alternative. You were gay and you were going, not that there's anything wrong with that, steal from Seinfeld, but you were just looked down upon. That was a generation.
No, that was a common slur.
Common slur.
Without even thinking about it.
Yeah. You really couldn't confide in anyone. And you would see something come up on the news, and you would hear, you know, parents, friends, relatives, whatever, really being sort of derogatory.
Yeah.
Towards
Everything
that.
was so black and white.
It was black and white.
And when you're occupying any queer space, you were all the way on the black. You were not on the white.
So even if you tried to support someone,
Yes.
you were all of a sudden lumped in with that,
Yep.
whether you were or not. And again, I'm not saying that I have any problems with being queer. I mean, that is a wonderful different expression of yourself. But I didn't consider myself queer at that time.
No, I definitely didn't either at the time.
So, not a lot of support. I didn't have any friends. I didn't really have any girlfriends. You know, kids these days, they might have a girlfriend that would support them in it. Went all the way up through college. You know, was at work, and it was a very male-dominated environment back then. And you still got that same feeling of you don't want anyone to know you're doing this.
Right. So now, where do you get your support from?
Meeting friends like yourself,
Okay.
like that. Sometimes through Instagram or TikTok, meeting certain people. I'm not out there going to people's houses per se, but you're just finding people with similar
talk to
similar on that. Go to therapy.
Okay.
You know, I've talked to a doctor about it. So that's really where you get it. It's still trying to reach out to people and break them into this, because again, for those of you who might be watching this that don't cross-dress, are not trans or gender dysphoric, it's kind of an all or nothing once you come out. You know, there's no stepping back. And
No, I'm not. I don't dress anymore.
yeah, there's no stepping back, and if people are gonna make judgments, they're gonna make judgments, and they'll probably forget all about everything else you've done. And
Right.
I've seen that. I've actually seen that happen to people. So this is a big step for me. It's the right thing to do. In one way, it is. It's therapeutic. In the other, if you know, really anyone watching this probably already is into dressing or
has questions.
or understands it and probably is
or
not.
wants to know.
Yeah, is not a enemy, or not enemy is the wrong word, but is not real negative on it. So it's probably a safer space
Yes.
than just coming out at work. So, yeah, but yeah, support is tough. I mean, you know, you'd like to think family would be easy, and in a way it is, but if you've been hiding something for so long, it makes it a little bit more difficult.
Right.
Because there's a trust barrier, and in some ways you've broken that trust by hiding it. And you probably hit it through fear, through disappointment, through guilt.
But most of that
Is
fear
internal,
and guilt is internal to you.
but it's tough to get around those
Yeah,
and
no,
to overcome that.
Super hard.
So,
We're our
Yeah.
own worst enemy most of the
Yeah.
time.
oh yeah,
And it's the few that give us grief. I don't want to give them power with saying this, but it's only the few that give us the grief
yeah,
that feeds that negativity in ourselves. And I think we can beat that. I think we can get over that.
yeah. No, I really do. I mean, there's definitely that grief that is given does create a negativity. It creates not almost like a depression. Like, what is wrong with me?
Right.
Why are these people? And instead of looking around and turning around and saying, what is wrong with them? You know,
What happened to you?
You know, what is it that you're hiding that you're so angry about this? Because obviously, I don't know how I could be bothering you. Because I could be ugly. Okay, that's fine. Just look somewhere else. You know, you could be uncomfortable that I've dressed up as a female, that I'm in your area. Well, I'm not going over and sitting down next to you. And if I did and you said, I'm not comfortable, I'd be more than happy to go somewhere else. You know, people's pronouns these days, I'm like, what's up with whatever someone wants to call themselves, I'm fine with. If they want to be he, she, they, them, that's fine. That's what they want to do. It doesn't really bother me to have to say that. What extra energy am I doing? It's taking nothing from me, but it's giving a lot to them. And that's why I think the world would be a better place if we were all giving a lot more to each other.
Yes.
And again, support, friendship, you know, comfort when needed. And I do find when I do dress up, I'm more likely to give support or comfort. It becomes more natural to me. So just to finish up on the gender thing, I just think, you know, people ought to just chill out and understand that, you know, many people, it's not that I'm trying to be a woman. And, you know, again, I use the word woman because that's how I grew up. There's certain aspects of the female gender that I really like to express.
We were talking earlier that it's a severe admiration of women.
Yes.
That kind of feeds some of this. It's that ability to be open, that ability to have all those things you just talked about, that is given to us by dressing like this. We're allowed to do that, and we can't do that in guy mode. And it's
Yep. Absolutely. It's just, and again, what is it hurting people?
right.
You know, maybe the female in the relationship, it hurts them a little bit because people will look down on her. You know, what did you do wrong that your partner has to dress up? You know, why? What can't you? You know, I'm like, that's not why.
Right.
It's nothing to do with a female partner per se. It's maybe an adoration of them. It's an internal thing, and you know, and people also say, oh well, we're just training people to do this now. No, what's happened is society has opened up a little bit, and people now feel more comfortable coming out. I mean, when I was growing up, there were no gay people. There were gay people, don't get me wrong, but no one had come out. No one was, you know, they were so afraid.
You certainly wouldn't do
Openly.
that in high school. Or
Yeah.
you certainly wouldn't even think about that,
Right.
even in college.
In college, yeah. And now, as people start to come out, people are like, oh, what's wrong with society? Nothing's wrong with society. Society's probably getting better, more open. Again, I look at it, what are they doing to me that is negative? And they're not. Or what am I doing that's negative? And I'm not. I'm enjoying myself. I'm enjoying with friends. Being myself, and hopefully a happier person. And I think that's what we should all be striving for. I mean,
I agree.
so,
Yes.
It's where we've spent too many years trying to please everybody else.
Yep.
Not just us, everybody. Everybody's always trying to make this social standing, and we're making ourselves unhappy doing it. This is just one aspect of that, of us not being able to make ourselves happy in everything that's going on out there.
and yeah, oh, absolutely. And, you know, morality, I haven't really figured out the immoral part of what I'm doing, but what I think is more immoral is to not support someone in being themselves, to not reach out and support someone who needs to be supported.
Right.
And that's what I try to do. I was reluctant to come on, but I also wanted to be able to talk about. You know, it's not an easy thing. It's not something that you just wake up and choose. Everyone says, "Oh, you chose to do it." It's not something you just choose to do.
Right.
It's something that is within you and comes out. And actually, in many instances, it's something you have to let out, or you're going to be in a lot of inner pain and depression, whatever. It just builds up. I've been dressing forever. I've tried, as I said, tried to quit a bunch of times, but it kept coming back.
Well, apparently, I like it more than I thought I did. Excuse me, Matt, can you take that out?
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely,
Thank you.
ma'am. Yes, for sure.
So, we're going to move on to the last three.
Okay.
The last three is 2 questions for me,
All
and
right.
then you give me 1 question. The first question is going to be, so, you're stuck on an elevator with somebody who's very transphobic and very outward about it, and you've got to spend the next 3 hours with them because you're stuck on the elevator with them. What would you say to them? What's your approach to have a conversation? Oh, thank you, ma'am. To have a conversation with them, to work with them, to be able to live with them for 3 hours and endure it.
I'd first ask, what is it that they find so offensive?
Mhm.
You know, is it a religious thing? Is it something that happened to them? Is it, you know, just what is it? And I'd try to break the ice and say, listen, you know, we're here, we're stuck here, you know, don't worry. I'm not really attracted to you to begin with, but even if I was, that's not why I dress. It's not for attraction and going out trying to have sex or anything like that. It's more of a relaxation thing, and I'm just being myself. And
Right.
if you're really uncomfortable, I'll just stand over on this side. You can stand on that side. But if we're here for 3 hours, it's going to be very boring. So ask me what you'd want to ask me. Ask me any question about it. I'll be open. I'll tell you what's going on. But I think once you understand that, you know, what's going through me as I do this, you'll probably have a little bit different opinion. I'm just a normal person. You know, I actually enjoy helping people, talking with people, etc. I just happen to do something a little different than you. I could ask you, why are you wearing black pants and a black shirt all the time? If that's what you're doing, you know,
Right.
why do you choose to dress the way you choose? You know, so that's probably how I do it. I really try to get into a conversation where they can ask about me and hopefully disarm their anger, their phobia, whatever. Because that's the only way to do it, is for people to understand that
get that conversation
get the conversation going.
Doesn't matter where it goes, just get a.
And some people may, hey, this is just it. It's, my religion says it's evil. I'm not sure which religion actually says that, but some people feel that way.
Right.
And you're not going to change their mind. But if you never talk to someone, you'll never change their mind.
Exactly.
So
my second question for you is, when you had a dark time as a child or in the younger years, and you could give yourself one piece of advice about cross-dressing, about Ashley, about who you are, what do you think you would say to yourself back then?
that's a really good question. Probably that you need to embrace it. It's part of you. You may not be able to do it openly at this stage of your life, but don't let it eat you up with guilt.
Right.
Don't let what people say dig into you and just take away your humanity. You're a person. You're a good person. You like to do something slightly different. I mean, everyone has different hobbies. Some people like to go hunting. Well, you're killing something there. So, and I'm actually not against hunting, but I'm just saying, you could find something up about anyone's hobby.
Something negative about anybody's.
Some people like to gamble. Well, there's a lot of things you could say negative about that.
Yes.
There's positives too, but so just be yourself. If you have to hide it and you feel you can't come out, that's fine, but you'll be okay. You'll make it through, and you'll be successful, and you'll do what you want, and then eventually you'll be able to do whatever you want at a later date. So
Awesome.
Just really be true to yourself, and I think everyone should do that.
Yes, that's kind of the key.
No matter what you're doing.
Kind of what we're getting at here.
Yeah. I mean, as I say, and it's almost anything someone does, someone is going to have a problem with.
Right.
I would just say, be yourself, help out people,
Right.
and move forward.
Beautiful.
Yay.
All right, one question for me.
I guess why do this? When I say this, the podcasts and all of that.
Ooh, that's a good one.
'Cause I kind of know to some extent, not the full extent, why you do this, because it's different for every person. But why are you doing the podcast?
We're doing our little feminine fashion enthusiast show because I want this to not be taboo. I want a place people can go when they're first starting out and they don't know what they're feeling. I want them to have a place where they can hear other people's stories.
Yep.
I want there to be people that have questions about us.
Yep.
They can come to this and watch this. If you've got a son or a daughter that's not feeling their gender, maybe this could be a resource. I would love to think. I want the spouses, I want the wives to come to this and see and hear from other people that they don't have that much to be worried about. They don't have to. It's not as deep or as sick as a lot of people think. It's actually quite a beautiful thing. I want this to be a resource for everybody. I want people to understand from our mouths, from all our different stories, all our different perspectives. We have so much in common, and I want that to get out there. That's it. I think this is wonderful and beautiful, and I don't think there's enough. Because we're old. When we were coming up, we didn't have anything.
Right.
Nothing. You had to search through some grimy shit to find anything positive about cross-dressing.
That's also very true. Coming up, the only thing you would see, I mean, first of all, I didn't even realize what it was coming up. And then you start seeing it like in pornography.
Yes.
And that was also a negative thing. That was a negative influence.
And when we're brought up, porn is nasty. That's the devil stuff. You don't watch that.
And it was always seedy. It was always this. so yeah, it was also that was also another reason why it was very, in some ways, demoralizing to be a
Yes.
dresser, because the only time it's ever really seen, and then it got to the point where you had bosom buddies, and all of a sudden it was seen as a joke,
Yeah.
and also in a little ways, they were dressing up as a women to get women, so they could live in a woman's place.
Right.
So it's kind of, that was sort of like, that's sort of the predatory piece
Yeah.
that people come up. Well, you'd only do that because you want to be a predator.
you
No,
want-
that's not it. And by the way, in my generation, probably 2 generations after, the way to get a woman was not to dress up as a woman. So, so that wasn't really why I was doing it. But I agree, and I do think you mentioned the wives. I mean, it's got to be very tough on them.
It's super hard. There.
And
So we were talking about this earlier. For the wives, it's easier for us to dress up and go out than it is for our wives to have us dress up and go out.
Yep.
Because they are so much more impacted by the thumbs of society
Yeah.
on them, and the feeling to present that good image of their family, of their husbands, of their
Yeah.
kids, and they often feel like this is a personal affront against them, like
Yeah.
this is us doing something against them, and it's not. It's us just trying to be ourselves.
Yeah.
And I want that to be seen.
I've talked too long, but I just think what you're doing here is wonderful. I think it's
Thank you.
important for people. I'm actually kind of tearing up. Important for people to listen. Don't listen to give an answer, right? Don't listen so you can answer. Listen to see what's going on, and then you will find your answer.
Hey, my turn.
Oh, you
Okay.
doing this
Get it,
again?
get it,
Oh
get
my
it.
God! I let her
Get it.
talk once,
Okay.
and now she
come
wants to
on,
talk
come on.
every time.
Yes. Okay, my turn. So, you were talking about clothes.
Yep.
Which I'm very, I love clothes. And shoes.
Yep.
What would be Ashley style?
Couple. One would be sort of a casual, a blouse or a nice cute top with
Okay.
a skirt. Sometimes with a dress. Dresses are very hard for Ashley because Ashley's tall, and
Yeah.
you have to go to the tall shops and so it's much less selection.
Okay.
Or you're wearing a mini skirt, which is a dress. I'm not super glam.
Okay.
I do I
Like
dressed up for today.
Casual.
Kind of a casual. If you could just love to wear leggings and a long
Okay.
shirt,
Uh-huh.
or jeans and some boots and comfy.
Yes.
Occasionally a skirt and blouse.
Okay.
But yeah, it's
Awesome.
all over the place. But I'm not. You wouldn't really find me dressing up for a glamorous ball.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay. So that's awesome. Do you have a question for me?
What was it like when Olive came out, and what do you experience when you're?
Well, actually, how we work, it was more like I got the whole idea of trying to take what it was inside her to put it out.
Yep.
So you knew I always had this?
Yes, I knew you always had that in there. It was more like she trying to put like believings on her, like she can do it,
Supporting her.
and then supporting her to making believe in herself and trying to like make it more like
Yep.
comfortable being who she was inside, and trying to make it more fun and like not such a oh no, but I don't know what people are gonna think. And it's more like but if we have fun, that's not matter what other people think. It's
I mean
more like
that's great, because that's one of the toughest things is everyone worries what other people think,
a lot.
and that's one of the hardest things to get
Yeah.
over. I honestly haven't gotten over all that yet. But
It's hard. It's
Yeah.
hard, and it's like it's always in the back of your mind, that little like I don't know if I look good enough, or I
Yeah.
don't know if my dress is too short, or those kind of things
Yeah.
are always in the back of. But I'm always pushing her. I'm always trying to be the supportive wife and trying
Yeah.
to like, you look good. You
Well, she
shine
does.
too much.
She does. She
So
does.
some of that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Great.
thank you so much.
Well, thank you.
Get out of here. This is my show. Jesus.
This sounds like the flag show with Sheldon and. and
The Big Bang Theory, yes.
Well, it was awesome having you
it's
here,
awesome
Ashley.
having you. Thank you.
And thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I hope your story helps
I hope so too.
tons of them.
It helped me to tell it.
Yay.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Love you.
Wonderful people here.
Love you.